The armies would meet on Vigrid. Odin would face Fenrir, and the wolf, free at last after countless ages of binding, would be mad with rage. They would fight, god and monster, spear against fangs. Odin would thrust Gungnir forward, striking true, but Fenrir would dodge and lunge, and those massive jaws would close around Odin, the Allfather, the wisest and most powerful of gods, swallowing him whole. But Odin's death would be avenged immediately. Vidar, Odin's son, would step forward. He wore a shoe made from all the leather scraps that cobblers had thrown away throughout history, accumulated for this very moment. He would place that shoe on Fenrir's lower jaw, grab the upper jaw with his hands, and tear the wolf's mouth apart, splitting Fenrir's head and killing the beast that killed his father. Thor would face Jormungandr, the enemy he had encountered before, the creature whose destiny was bound to his. They would recognize each other across the battlefield, and Thor would charge forward, Mjolnir raised high, thunder rolling with each step. Jormungandr would rear up, towering over the battlefield, venom spraying from his fangs in waves. Thor would strike the serpent's head with Mjolnir, and the blow would shatter Jormungandr's skull, killing the world serpent that had plagued the seas since the beginning of time. But the serpent's death throes would spray poison over Thor. The god would stagger back 9 steps, poisoned beyond even his divine constitution's ability to heal, and he would fall dead beside his enemy.
Freyr would face Surt, but Freyr had given away his sword long ago to win the giantess Gerd as his bride, and he would fight the fire giant with only an antler as a weapon. It would not be enough. Surt would cut him down and then turn his flaming sword on Asgard itself, setting fire to the halls of the gods. The fire would spread to Yggdrasil, and the world tree would burn, its branches collapsing, its roots withering, and as it died, the 9 realms would fall with it. Heimdall and Loki would find each other on the battlefield, old enemies meeting for the last time. They would fight with swords and coming, neither giving ground, until finally, in a moment of simultaneous strikes, they would kill each other, falling together as the world burned around them. Tyr and Garm, the hound that guarded Helheim's gates, would face each other, and they too would slay each other in single combat. The gods would fight bravely, but one by one they would fall. The sun would be extinguished, the stars would fall from the sky, the earth would sink into the sea. Fire and water would rage, destroying everything until nothing remained but emptiness once more. But this would not be the end. The prophecy spoke of what came after. A new earth would rise from the water, green and fertile, more beautiful than the old world. The sun's daughter would take her mother's place in the sky, riding the same path, bringing light to the reborn world. Some of the gods would survive. Vidar and Vali would live through Ragnarok. Modi and Magni, Thor's sons, would find Mjolnir among the ashes and carry it forward. Baldur and Hod would return from Helheim, reconciled at last.
They would gather in Idavall, where Asgard once stood, and they would speak of the old times, of the gods who had fallen, of the battles they had fought. 2 humans would also survive, having hidden themselves in Yggdrasil's wood during the destruction. Their names were Lif and Lifthrasir, and from them would come a new race of humans to populate the renewed earth. This is the cycle that the Norse believed in, not eternal paradise, not infinite existence, but a world that lived, fought, died, and was reborn. A world where even gods were mortal, where courage mattered more than victory, where the battle itself was the point, not the outcome. The Vikings who worshipped these gods understood that nothing lasts forever, that all things, even the divine, must eventually end. But they also believed that what you did before that end defined you, that honor and bravery in the face of certain defeat were the highest virtues. Warriors who died bravely in battle would be carried to Valhalla by the Valkyries, Odin's choosers of the slain. Valhalla was a massive hall with 540 doors, each wide enough for 800 warriors to march through side by side.
There, the Einherjar, the chosen warriors, would feast every night on the meat of Seyrimnir, a boar that was slaughtered each evening and resurrected each morning, and they would drink mead that flowed from the udders of the goat Hadron. During the day, they would fight each other in the courtyard, honing their skills, and those who fell in these practice battles would rise again at sunset, wounds healed, ready to feast. They did this to prepare for Ragnarok, for when the final battle came, they would march out beside the gods and fight against the giants and monsters. They knew they would lose. They knew most of them would die. They did it anyway, because that is what warriors do.